We're in the Gemara and Taanis over here on Daf Tes. Original recordings, rabbiblon.com. These are the quicker ones. We're going to start in the bottom of Chesed Beis. Rabbi Yochanan, my dichtiv. Rabbi Yochanan said, "What's the pasuk when it says aser to aser? You should give meiser. Aser b'shvil shizis aser. You should give meiser. You should tithe in order that you're going to become wealthy. And the deeper idea is, if you give stock, if you give charity, then you're going to become wealthy for that. The more that you give, the more that you're gonna get. The Marsha over here explains it as a play on words aser, or to aser and osher, wealth, or meiser is the idea that you're going to give from you and then you're going to get your own meiser. So the Ben Ish Chai asks the question, how come a lot of people give and they don't get any wealth? So he says it's because they have other sins that they do. The Gemara says, Ashkechi Rabbi Yochanan le'nuku Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan found the child of Reish Lakish. This was his nephew. Amar le, he said to him, Emeli Pesu Kech, what pasuk are you learning about? Amar le, Aser Tzaser, this pasuk. Amar le, he said, Uma Aser Tzaser, what's the explanation of this pasuk? Amar le, Aser B'shvil Tzaser. What did the child, so he responded back. He said that Aser B'shvil Tzaser, that you should give Meiser and then you're going to get wealthy that way. Amarle min alacha. He said, "How do you know this?" Amarle zilnasi. Go and test it out. Amarle mishar lunasila kodesh baruch v'asayos Hashem. Are you allowed to test Hashem? The pasuk says you can't. Amarle hacha amar Rabbi Yoshaya. No, Rabbi Yoshaya says chutz mizah. You're not allowed to test Hashem except for specifically this mitzvah. Shenamar. The pasuk says, "Hey, you as kol meiser al beis." So you're going to bring all of your meiser to the storage house. You terab beis. There's going to be sustenance in your house. B'chulin abizos amar Hashem svakos. Im lo avtach lechem eserubas Hashemayim v'rekos lechem bracha ad bli dai. So test me with this. Hashem said, if I'm not going to open for you the windows of the heaven and pour out to you blessing until there's no end. Maya bidai, what does that mean until there's no end? Amar Rabbi Chama, Amar Rav, Rabbi Chama said in the name of Rav, Ad sheyifus l'suchem l'omar dai, until your lips get worn out of saying it's enough, too much you gave me. Amar lei havi mati hasam, if I would have gone over there lahai psuka to that pasuk lo havi sricha, I didn't even need that pasuk. Lo Hoshe Rabbech, I didn't need Hoshe your rabbi. V'su ashkicha Rabbi Yochanan. In other words, you didn't even need to go that far because you already have for other psukim that we know this. Visu ashkicha Rabbi Yochanan liyanuka. Furthermore, there's a story that Rabbi Yochanan found the child of Reish Lakish. He said that he was saying, "Avlos adam to salav darcha." The evil of a person makes crooked a person's way. Ve'al Hashem yizaf libuna, and on Hashem he gets angry. Yes, Rabbi Yochanan v'kamatam. Rabbi Yochanan was sitting and he was wondering, Amar midi kamidi dechsibi v'ksuvi delor mizir. There's something that's written in ksuvim and it's not in chumash. In other words, we don't need that. There's already a stronger proof in chumash. Amar le'atu ahai milo or mizi. Is it not alluded to? V'haksav the pasuk v'yitel v'im v'rachit v'yishalachav leimar ma'azos asa elokim lanu, that they were fearful and they went out and they said, "What is Hashem doing over here?" Dalai, so he lifted his eyes. Rashi explains that that Rabbi Yochanan's eyebrows were very big, so he would have to pick them up with an instrument and in order to see. And then v'chazi ben, he saw Asi Ime, and the mother came af fakte and took the boy out. Amalei said, "Tom mekaime delolav ilokto gavuch." He said, "Leave from in front of Rabbi Yochanan, so he doesn't know, so that he doesn't do what he did to your father." A.K. the Gemara Mitzia paid out. It wasn't a good ending over there. So that's the story that we have over here, and that's the idea. There's a very long Tosfos over here that basically explains the story with someone who bequeathed to his son a field and said, "You have to give a tenth of your field in order if you want to." That's what I'm instructing you before I die. So the field is 100 acres. He was giving a tenth, everything was going good, and then eventually he stopped, and he only had a tenth of success of what he used to have, and it was because he didn't give the Meisers a long toast. He says a few other points. That's his main point. The Ben Ish Chai, his Ben Yoyado, also comes along and says, "Why are you bringing a proof from a story with the kid who's not even obligated in giving tzedakah charity?" He says that's the point. You're still going to get guaranteed that you're going to have a blessing. A lot to say about tzedakah. You could talk about it for hours. The Gemara continues, "Amar Rabbi Yochanan matar b'shvil yachid, parnasa b'shvil rabbim," that the matar, the rain, becomes because of an individual, but excessive abundance and income, that comes because of a lot of people and their prayers. Matar b'shvil yachid, how do you know that the prayer that the rain comes for an individual? The pasuk says, Hashem's going to open just for you in the singular tense. So that's how you know the difference between the two, because the mamtir lachem is in plural. It says, "I'm going to bring rain for you" in plural. So you see, you need plural. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda says, "Shlosha parnasim tovim mamdu li Yisrael ve'eluhin Moshe v'Aaron." There are three leaders that stood for the Jews. and people who supplied the Jews with what they needed, and that is Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. The Gimel Tanos Tu was Nitnu Al Yodim. There were three gifts that were given through them. Beiluhin, and these are them. Be'er Anan ve'uman. That you had the well, you had the cloud, and you had the man. Be'er b'zechus Miriam, Amud Anan b'zechus Aaron, man b'zechus Moshe. You had the well that came in the merit of Miriam. You had the clouds of glory that came in the merit of Aaron, and you had the man that came in the merit of Moshe. Mesa Miriam is bear. Once Miriam died, then the bear left. Shnemar, the well left. Shnemar v'tamacha Miriam died. V'ksib basrain. Then it says afterwards, v'lo hayim mayim leid, they didn't have water for the congregation. V'chazer b'zachu shneim, but it returned in the merits of both of them. Meis Aaron is talkon on Yaakov. Once Aaron died, so then the clouds of glory they left. These were miraculous clouds that protected the Jews and were very special in many ways. So the Aaron, once he died, the clouds left. What did he hear? Aaron. So the king of Arad heard that Aaron died. And the clouds of glory left. And they thought, oh, now we can wage war against the Jews. That's the pasuk means. So it says that they saw that Aaron died. Don't read it as saw, meaning that they saw that the Jews saw that Aaron died. Rather, Elavira, that they were seen. What does this mean? That they became exposed, that other people were able to see them, and that Aaron died, and that the clouds were revealed. Because beforehand they were covered by the clouds, now they can be seen. Reish Lakish, like Reish Lakish says, what is it? Ki mashmar b'lashanos. Ki could work as four languages. E dilma, ela daha. Could be e. It could be if, perhaps, rather, or because. So it has four different languages that could be Yud. Chazrush name is Moshe. They both returned in the merit of Moshe. Meis Moshe is Takli Kulam. Once Moshe died, so then they all got removed. Shnemar is the pasuk says, "V'achi k'shlosh shabduim b'yerech echad." So I'm going to take away the three shepherds in 1 month. V'chi b'yerech echad meisu v'aloi Miriam meisim b'nisim v'Aaron b'av Moshe v'other. Was it 1 month that they all died? Miriam died in Nisan, Aaron died in Av, and Moshe was in Other. Elam alabich l'tzbat gimel matanos toiva shnasu al yodan v'nestalku kulam b'yerech echad. Rather, coming to teach us that it was null and void, the three gifts that were given through them, and it was removed in 1 month. Alma, what do we see? Ashkichan parnasa b'shvil yachid. What do we see? That you could have a sustenance and an abundance because of an individual. Ake the man was coming just because of Moshe. That's the Gemara's question. My answer is shiny. Moshe came to the rabbim who boy kid rabbim dami. No, Moshe was different. Since a lot of people needed him, he was considered like a lot of people. Rav Huna bar Manoyach, Rav Shmuel bar Yidi, Rav Chia, all of those rabbis. Mivastia, it's the name of the place. They were from that place. They were frequently in front of Rava. Rava, once Rava died of Papa, they went in front of Rava Papa. Whenever Rava Papa would say something that say halacha and it wasn't logical to them, it didn't make sense, they would hint to one another. They were like making faces. Rashi over here on the bottom explains, it's like, what's he saying is totally not what Rava used to teach us, these ideas. So because of this, Rav Papa, he became weak. And they read to him in a dream, I will take the three shepherds. They would read that pasuk with him over there, and AK, they wanted to punish them because they were embarrassing him. Then the Gemara over here says, so the next day when he was departing from them, because he was upset, he would tell them, you should go bishalma, in peace, which isn't so good. The Gemara in Brachos at the end of Maseches Brachos, as opposed to Lishalom. Rav Shimi Barashi, Havishkiach Kamei Dirapapov. Actually, too, Rav Shimi Barashi, he would frequently be in front of Rav Papa, and he would ask him a lot of questions. Yoim Achad, one day, Chazya, Rav Shimi Barashi, he saw the Nafal Lapui that Rav Papa he fell on his face. Shamed the Amr, and he heard Rav Papa saying to himself, Rahman al Hashem should save of Mikisufa Dishmi, from the embarrassment that Rav Shimi is causing me. He asked me all these questions, these good Torah questions, I don't know the answer. Rav Shimi accepted upon himself he's going to be silent, and he will no longer ask questions to Rav Papa. Even Reish Lakish holds that the rain will come for an individual, because Reish Lakish says, how do you know the rain will come for an individual? The they asked from Hashem that the rain is going to come in the time of the Malkush, and Hashem is going to make chazizim like clouds, and then the rain is going to give forth, and it's going to give forth for the fields and for the for the asev, for the greens in the field over here, the plants and the grasses and the fruits and the trees, etc. Yochel, you would think that it's for everyone. Rashi explains, you would think I'm only going to bring rain if everyone needs it. Tamalom or leish. That's what the pasuk comes to tell us, that even for an individual, as Rashi explains, elish yochel sadoisev. If it's for an individual, I would think for all fields, which means I would think that you don't need it if a person has multiple properties over here. So I would think that he needs it for all of his fields. Tamalom or sada. That's what the pasuk comes to say. Sada in the singular tense, even if it's only for one of his properties, one of his fields, the rain will still nevertheless come. Sada, if it's one field, yachal kol sada. So then I would think it's for the entire field. Tamalom or asav. No, even if you don't need it for the entire field, you just need it for just like one plant or one vegetable, whatever it is, the rain will come. That's what Rashi explains. Ki hadirav Daniel Bar Katina, like Rav Daniel Katina says, Havile Hahi Ginosa. There was like a type of garden over there, orchard. Kol Yama Havi Azil Vasayr. Every single day he would go and he would inspect what's going on over there. Law Amar, and he would say, Iha Mishra Boimaya. If this like low patch needs water, Vahai Mishra Lo Boimaya, and this doesn't need water. Va'ata Mitra, and then a rain would come, Vika Mashke, Kol Heichad Mibaile, and it would water the area wherever he needed. Mishra is an aruga, it's a patch, as Rashi explains. Maya, it would water it with water. Maya Hashem Osa Chazizim. What does it mean that Hashem will do Chazizim, like we saw in the pasuk of 7 lines above? Amar Rebbe Yosi, Bar Rebbe or Bar Chanina, Rebbe Yosi Tzana Chanina said, Malamed Shekol Sativ Sadakal Shabar Chutol Sativ B'fnei Atzma. We can learn from here that for every single righteous person, Hashem will make a chaziz for him. What is a chaziz? My chazizim, a light cloud. Amar Rav Yehuna Porachos Kalisha. It's Porachos, excuse me. It's light clouds. Amar Yochanan Simla Matar Porachos. A sign that the rain is going to come is when you see that these light clouds. My Porachos, what are the Porachos? Amar Rav Papa Eva Kalisha. It's a light cloud. Tute Eva Semichta, which is actually under a thicker cloud. Amar of Yehuna Nihili Mekaimi Mitra Asi Mitra. If you have mist that comes before rain, the rain will come. Basar Mitra Pasik Mitra. But if the mist comes after the rain, so then you know the rain will stop. Mekaimi Mitra Asi Mitra. How do you know that it's going to come? If it's going to come before the rain, the mist, so then the rain will come. V'simanach. Your sign for this is Muhul Yasa Sieve. It's like over here that the small items of the sieve fall out first. Perhaps there's different ideas. Rashi goes into this. The Basar Mitra, that it's gonna, if it's gonna come after the rain, Pasik Mitra V'simanach. Easy. If the mist is gonna come after the rain, so then you know the rain's gonna stop. This is like when it comes to the feces of goats. Rashi explains first the big feces comes out, and then the smaller comes out. Ula ikli lebavel. Ula ikla visited Bavel. Chaze parachos, and he saw that there were light clouds. Amr lahu panumana. He said you should remove your vessels from the courtyard. The hashtasi mitra, because the rain is going to be coming over here. The sof latli mitra. At the end, the rain didn't come. Amr ula seki hechidim meshachri bebae hachi meshachri mitayu. Just like the Babylonians, they lie, so too their rain lies over here. That's what he would say, because the Marshal over here explains that the clouds would also they would also lie in terms of when they would bring rain or not. The Gemara continues with another episode with Ula and Bavel. Ula ikle Bavel, Ula visited Bavel. Chazi Malay Sana. He saw there were baskets full of the tamari of dates, bezuze, that were cheap. There was only for Zuz Amar. He said Malay Sana dedusha bezuzo babelilaski baraisa. If you have a full baskets over here of the honey, which is the honey that came from the dates for only a zuz, and the people from Bavel aren't learning Torah, how are they not learning Torah? Rashi explains they have such cheap food over here, they could just learn Torah all day. But what happened at night? He was in a tremendous amount of pain. Rashi says shul. He had a diarrhea. Amar Mali, because from the dates, Amar Mali Sina de Sakine, you have a basket full of dates, bezuze for Zuzu Babli Askaraisa, and they are learning Torah. In other words, wow, look how impressive it is that they're learning Torah over here when they're eating all these dates that are giving them such stomach issues. Tanya, we have a brisa. The entire, all of the water in the world, aka the source of all the water in the world, comes from the oceans. Shnemar, as the pasuk says, that you're gonna have a cloud that's gonna come from the ground, and it's gonna bring rain on the entire ground. Amrlo Rebbe Yeshua said, what do you mean the water is salt? How could you say that all water is coming from the whole world over there? Amrlo, no. Tikin be'avim, that it's getting sweetened from the clouds. It helps with the process. Rabbi Yeshua says that the entire world, it gets its water from the upper waters. That's where it gets its water from, in the sky. Shneemar, lamato shemayim tishtamayim. Elamad, from the rain of the skies, it's going to drink water. Elamad miyakayim. What am I going to fill with the pasuk? Ve'edalim in arts. Melamed shananim eskaven v'olim nirakilu poskim piyim kinun makam piyamatrish. You can learn from over here that the clouds, that they strengthen themselves and they go up to the sky and then they open their mouth like a type of bottle, and then they receive the water. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Yizku matar leido. It's going to pour the water. Umenukavos hein kekivra, and it has holes like a sieve. Baos umachashro ismaim al gabe karkan. It's going to go and it's going to sprinkle water on the ground. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, chashro ismaim al vishachakim. It's going to be like a darkness of the water from the clouds on the sky and the heavens. Ve'em bein tipa latipa ela kimol. There's only between drops of water like a hair's breadth. Lam dachel is coming to teach us shagadol yom gisham kishum shivir b'shamayim the arts, that it's great the day of rain, like the day when the heavens and the earth were created. Shem, the pasuk says, doing greatness until no comprehension, like we saw on Bezim and Alf. You're going to put rain on the entire ground. It says later on, Lo yadatim lo shematu kei olam. Hashem, same pasuk, ein cheker l'tivuna, so that we saw in the beginning that you know, if you didn't hear the God of the world, that there's no comprehension for your understanding. It's incomprehensible. Come on, who does it go like this? This pasuk that says you're gonna give water to the mountains above, and Rabbi Yochanan says is referring to above from Hashem. Kivan, who's going like Rabbi Yeshua. It's going like Rabbi Yeshua, who said that it's coming from the skies. Rabbi Yezer, Kevan desaki lahasem mashkim layonin karile. Since it goes up to over there, so it's still called that it's like from up there. If you're not going to say this, you have dust and dirt that's from the heavens, from the skies. Where are you going to find it? Rather, since you're like lifting up from there, from the skies, that's what it's called. So to over here, when it comes to the rain, since it's coming from over there, it's called rain. Who is it going like that? Which Rabbi Chanina says, that you're going to gather the mound from the water and you're going to put it in the depth. Who's going to cause the storage houses to get filled with grain to homos, the depths? Who's it going like Rabbi Yezer? That's going like Rabbi Yezer. Rabbi Yeshua, according to Rabbi Yeshua, that is from the creation of the world, that Hashem gathered all the water in one place, as Rashi explains, and he put it in the chest.